The Sacred Mass, Chapter 28, A Little Life. Miss Lady made the effort to continue chasing after Julian, and her way was blocked by Alex, and he told her that Julian's lies about his mother and stepfather, and Alex knew that the kid was Alex kind of had sense that the kid was exaggerating, and he almost instantly knew when a person was lying to him, and lies smelled differently, and mixed within Julian's lies were hidden truths. The boy didn't feel loved by his caretakers. And as Miss Lady, Alex handed her a bag of coins, and then he said, "Thank you for your service. Now run along then." Miss Lady made a motion to return the bag of coins, but she chose to keep it. Alex, satisfied, said, "That's what I thought." Alex spat at her shoes, and then he chased after Gregory and company. And as they walked and chatted together, Alex drew near Caron and Gregory, and he made a motion with his head to illustrate that he wanted to talk to them. Lord Siegfried noticed the motion, and he went to listen in as well. Julian at the moment was talking nonsense with Lysandra. Lord Siegfried was the first to ask, "What happened to Sunshine?" Afterward, he went to the club to get a drink, and he got drunk and he started ranting about Cedrin, and then he went to dance with Alex for a bit. And while he spun around, from the back emerged lovely butterfly-like wings, and Parched Sunshine went to sit at the bar to complain, and he burped once, and then fire came out, which made a lot of patrons laugh. And Sunshine was then approached by a man who offered him another drink. Sunshine at first refused, but then he saw that his coin purse was empty. The two flirted for a bit, and then eventually they left for the beach, and this time Sunshine was offered a brew from an unknown container. When he refused to drink it, two men emerged from the shadows, and one injected Sunshine with a strong poison, explained Allan. "Good God, Allan, that's awful," said Caron, shocked. "Have you found the ones responsible?" "How is Sunshine doing now?" asked Gregory. "He claims to be doing fine," said Allan. "Sunshine wants to get back to work, but Helmer feels that he should be resting. And he compromised, and he shall do both. So he's going to be helping Gregory with his overheating problems, and he will also update your diet plan to include more variety. So he's going to be making your meals till you learn the recipe." "So the Arch Magus Helmer is now a doctor, is he?" asked Alex. "So that's what he has been studying all the times I see him in the library." "Hey, Alex," said Gregory, greeting his brother with a smile. "Have you found the lover of your life yet?" "I did, but she rejected me," said Allan with an over-exaggerated show of sadness. "Tell me, Allan, does your father speak much about what he has been up to these past 7 years?" "He was a prostitute for a bit till Sunshine started teaching him medicine, and doctors are always useful, especially during times of war," explained Allan. "About 6 years ago, a man matching your father's description was seen roaming our castle grounds, and he would always disappear when approached. Tell me, Allan, what do you think he wanted at our castle?" asked Alex. "Food, money? Maybe one of your knights was a client of his," suggested Allan. "Don't be ridiculous," said Allan, laughing. "A shrimpy guy with a tall, handsome knight. Surely you jest." "If my dad wanted a tall, handsome knight, he could easily claim one. And we Jabberwocks always get our men," barked Allan. "Foreshadowing." "Allan, did you see into Julian's mind?" asked Caron, and he wanted confirmation of his suspicions. "I am not a snitch, so I won't tell," said Allan, refusing to be a snitch. Gregory grew saddened, and the more he thought about it, the more he feared that he had made a mistake. And why did Julian die to him? And maybe the boy would just miss him a lot. The conversation ended when they arrived at the beach, and Miss Lady was talking with Sunshine, who was sitting in the beach chair underneath an umbrella, and he too was dressed for the occasion with a golden pants and a white sleeveless shirt. And standing beside him was Helmer, and from the ocean, Lotte in her dragon form peered from the ocean depths to chase after some tourists. And after scaring them, she returned to hide underwater, waiting for her next prey. Helmer was also in shorts, but instead of a t-shirt, he was sporting a white sleeveless hoodie. His outfit left much of his scrawny flesh exposed. A Helmer saw the large party approach, and he moved back a few paces to stand behind Sunshine. Sunshine chuckling said, "Helmer, don't be shy. You know Greg and Allan." "Hi there, Daddy," said Allan, stretching his hands. And Helmer frowning hid underneath Sunshine's blonde hair. "I'm sorry. I kinda hugged him a little too hard, 'cause I miss him." "Oh, Allan, what did I tell you about being gentle with your poor father?" barked Caron. And Caron drew near Helmer, and he petted the black hair of the Arch Magus. And Caron opened his arm, and Helmer hugged Caron, and smiling Caron said, "See, Allan? Gentle, be gentle." "I'm sorry, Allan. You are very, very strong, and I'm a dainty little thing." Please show restraint," asked Helmer, trembling. "And why did you abandon us?" asked Allan, folding his arms. "And what were you doing these past years instead of taking care of me and Marina? And what was so called important that you neglected us?" "Allan, stop bullying your poor father," said Julian when he saw that Helmer was crying. "I'm sorry, Lord Julian," said Allan, feeling guilty, and it pained him that he couldn't pry the secret from his father's mind. "I'm sorry for bringing it up again, and you don't have to tell me your secrets." Helmer left Caron, and he drew near Allan, and Helmer said, trembling, "I forgive you, Allan, and you can hug me if you want to." Allan hugged Helmer, and this time he did so gently, and he brought out from his pocket a hard candy, and he handed one to Allan, and then he got one for himself, and with the ritual out of the way, those assembled relaxed and went to play in the ocean. And Gregory came to stand before Sunshine. "Are you all right?" asked Gregory with a guilty look on his face. "Don't worry about it, little brother," said Sunshine, smiling. "I'm tougher than I look." Helmer turned his head to avoid looking at Gregory, and with his free hand, Helmer covered his face so that nobody would see him cry. And Helmer left to seek refuge inside Allan's strong arms. And Allan, smiling, said, "Do you want me to take you to the water?" Helmer nodded in response. Allan coughed and said, "Well, that's enough crying for today, and we have to have fun, so stop ruining the vibe." Allan took Helmer into the ocean, and he carried him as he would do a small child. And Allan, frowning, said, "You feel a little bit skinnier." "I keep forgetting to eat," said Helmer sadly. "And with Sunshine working and Hope getting a doctor, there's no one to take care of poor Helmy." "I can look after you if you want to," offered Allan. Said Helmer, hesitating. "I would like that." "Really," said Allan, lifting his father up to be face to face. "But I have conditions," said Helmer. "Whatever you want, Dad," said Allan, smiling. "I want my own room, and no more asking me why I abandoned you. There are things that are too painful for me to talk about with my own children, and please respect my privacy." "Respect me, Allan. I am a dainty little flower, not a sword that you can swing about at your leisure," insisted Helmer. "Is that all?" asked Allan, smiling. He had an overwhelming urge to give his father a really tight hug. "Can Sunshine have his own room?" "I don't know if you're comfortable with him living in the guild. There's a bar there, and it is better if he stays away from temptation," said Helmer. And he added, blushing, "And you have to buy me things as soon as I ask for them." "Fair enough, and you were always prompt whenever I ask for a random toy. And I will reciprocate," said Allan, kissing his father's forehead. "Anything else?" "I want you to stop kissing Caron while he sleeps, and Gregory's your friend, and stop being a petty immature asshole like your old man," said Helmer. Allan was quiet for some time, and he didn't like being lectured, and he didn't like that his father could read his mind. And Allan suddenly he thought he knew why his father had abandoned him. Allan had been an asshole, so Helmer had a grudge. And every time Allan was remotely mean to his father, Helmer would flee for him as punishment. And if Allan was kind, Helmer would stay. And it was his childish notion, but it was preferable than thinking that his father was afraid of him. Allan knew that he had his mother's eyes, and Helmer was terrified of the woman he had been forced to wed. And Allan remembered his father always trembling whenever that woman was nearby, and he too was afraid of his own mother, and he dreaded the possibility of running into her again. "Allan, everyone has always bullied me, and please, Allan, you promised me that you will be good, so please, try not to bully me as well, and if you become good, I will change as well. And I will make the effort to grow a spine." "And Allan, let's try to change together," said Helmer. "And Allan, please, my sweet giant big baby Allan, can you forgive me?" There's nothing to forgive, Allan, said Allan, kissing his father's forehead. You were a kid, tasked with the impossible task of raising Psycho Allan. You did the best you could. I have another request, said Helmer sternly. Another? Asked Allan, smiling benevolently. You don't ever call yourself Psycho Allan. You're baby Allan, my big baby Allan, said Helmer, hugging Allan with as much strength as his scrawny hands could muster. I love you, Allan, and please, please don't hate me. I love you too, Dad, and I'm here for you. You are not alone. Any other requests? Not at the moment, said Helmer, relaxing his limbs, and he closed his eyes to enjoy the waves and the heat of the ocean. That's the end of that one. Bye-bye and God bless.